This is my first time back to the show since Donald Trump announced his new plan for the Gaza Strip, which is, I guess he just like Googled what's a war crime, what's genocide, and then I guess got ChatGPT to put together like a 5-week plan for it. Because that's all it is. It's ethnic cleansing. It's forced removal of massive numbers of people so the land can be expropriated and given to Israel or to, I don't know, European billionaires or to Donald Trump himself. And it's only getting worse over time because the reaction was obviously horrified by most people in the world, certainly all thinking people. And after having a day or two to like think about the plan for the first time, this is what he posted on True Social. The Gaza Strip would be turned over to the United States, which doesn't own it, to be clear, by Israel at the conclusion of fighting. The Palestinians, people like Chuck Schumer, you get it? He's saying that the Jewish senator is a Palestinian. He said this before because he doesn't want them all to die fast as quickly as Trump does. So he's a Palestinian. Again, we're the ones focused on identity and all that, not them. Would have already been resettled in far safer and more beautiful communities with new and modern homes in the region. Now you're probably wondering, what's that a reference to? Nothing. Nothing. He doesn't say what country that's supposed to be, where the 2 million new homes are gonna come from, nothing. They would actually have a chance to be happy, safe, and free. The US, working with great development teams from all over the world, I assume his company, would slowly and carefully begin the construction of what would become one of the greatest and most spectacular developments of its kind on Earth. No soldiers by the US would be needed. Stability for the region would reign. And that is, I've always said, the best way to get stability in an ongoing conflict is to ethnically cleanse one of the communities. And then you don't have one side of the conflict done. It's great, it's an idea I've heard before. Historically, there have been some leaders that have done that sort of thing. But anyway, so we're going to resettle 2 million people somewhere. Maybe the ocean, maybe a moon, I don't know. And then we won't even need any US soldiers, and we won't have to spend literally trillions of dollars. So MAGA, don't think about any of this. Don't think about how you consider this guy to be anti-intervention for the last decade or whatever. We're just gonna start a nation building exercise that's gonna make Iraq and Afghanistan look like a new McMansion development in like the suburbs of Houston or something. So that's all fun and totally consistent with what you thought you were voting for when you got him. And by the way, he says no soldiers now. He said when he first announced this, we'll do what is necessary. And if it's necessary, in response to a question about deploying US troops to the area, we'll do that. And it's not just him. Secretary Marco Rubio, Secretary of State, remember he's supposed to be the diplomatic one. He says Gaza must be free from Hamas. As Trump shared today, the US stands ready to lead and make Gaza beautiful again. Our pursuit is one of lasting peace in the region for all people. So the guy who stood on stage with Trump and made fun of his penis size is now just copying his slogan to justify ethnic effing cleansing. Francesca, I have a feeling you probably have thoughts about this.
Yeah, I mean,
is this worse than anything you imagined Trump proposing for Gaza? Because it is for me.
Well, so what's interesting about this idea, and the idea would be to forcibly remove 2 million Gazans or more, depending on whether or not he slipped up when he said 1.7, 1.8 million Gazans because of how undercounted the death toll has been. So that's, let's put the pin in that. But the thing about this plan is that it's an Israeli plan. It's what the Israeli government has wanted for a long time, which is to forcibly displace Gazans into Egypt, create some sort of what they call humanitarian corridor, whatever the hell that means, effectively a tent city on the border, which you could argue Gaza is already some sort of that. But specifically, it's not the moon, it's not Mars, it's the Sinai Peninsula, which really is a desert. There is nothing there. There's no infrastructure. So the idea would be to displace Gazans. You've been there?
Yeah, traveled through, yeah.
See, so like you saw, there's not even a Mickey D's or anything, no. But the idea is to put Gazans in tent cities in the Sinai Peninsula. This is an Israeli aim. And let's keep it 100. This was also something that the Biden administration spoke with the Israelis about, and that General Lloyd Austin was also speaking to Netanyahu and his counterparts about this very plan. It was very, very kind of low-key discussed. But again, these are people who could not, finally, eventually negotiate a ceasefire, which again, I think also is attributed to Trump's people coming in as well. So I just want to name, like, Biden was definitely better in that he wasn't full-throatedly saying we're going to literally displace everybody because it's nothing but rubble and this is not really people's homes and who cares. Biden wasn't doing that, but covertly the plan was, it seems, what Israel wanted, which was a US force. Now, the US force wouldn't have been boots on the ground, but it would be a US trained or US administrative sort of overseeing, an occupation of sorts, right? So it's like, we'll train Egypt and Jordanian soldiers to run Gaza, right? Anyone but the actual Palestinian people can run Gaza. So again, this is just a plan that Bibi was able to meet with Trump and was like, here, say this. And Trump was like, yeah, okay, I'm saying it because I literally have no independent thought and I have no ability to parse this. Biden did parse it, but again, was having those conversations behind closed doors. I know it sucks to hear that, and I'm not someone who ever thinks that Trump is better. Yeah, I think Trump is worse on this.
I think it matters to have the US president announcing it as his plan.
Absolutely.
And especially when it's coming off the back of him saying that we're going to conquer territory from Panama, we're going to conquer Greenland, we're also we're taking Gaza, it's ours now. I mean, look, this is peace. This is an end to chaos. This is what Donald Trump proposed. Having world powers now saying, yeah, no, I want that, that's mine, and I want that. And I like that.
And more than that, John, if you really, just like really quickly, to me, the biggest issue when you call him like anti-war or whatever, when anyone calls him that, no. Look at what they're doing to the narco war, right? Look at what they're doing to fighting so-called the war on drugs. They're classifying anyone who traffics drugs as terrorists. They're opening hundreds and hundreds of new fronts in the war on terror, except it's happening in this hemisphere. It's happening in this country. It's happening on the border with Mexico. So we will be in many other wars. There are a million new fronts, in addition to, again, as you mentioned, Panama, Greenland, and all this other dumb crap that he's doing.
When we were young, it was America is just gonna deploy troops all over the world for oil. Now it's for, I don't know, cheaper shipping costs. It's for minerals in Greenland. It's for, Mediterranean
stopping fentanyl, which is made in this country.
Again, all of this is just to enrich the wealthy, the US wealthy, the Israeli wealthy, whatever. And also, like, maybe there are some people who are like, they were defending the Israeli war effort the whole time, thinking this is about getting the hostages back. Nope. Like, at least just be willing to admit. Now, you don't have to admit that you believed it. Maybe you honestly believed that the government cared at all about hostages or whatever, even though they killed a bunch of them in the bombing. This is what it was. It was to wipe it out and set the stage to steal the territory. That's why they did it. Let's just be clear about that. One of the most utterly, intentionally horrendous acts of war that we've ever seen, intentional murder on a massive scale of civilians, to justify further war crimes, the forced relocation of people, the end of a people, and the stealing of territory. As many people pointed out, the size of Las Vegas being stolen from a people to be given to another country so that the wealthy can benefit. Thanks for watching our video. Did you know that you can support our show by becoming a subscriber? Just click the subscribe button and also ring the bell so that you get notifications when we're live or when we post new content.